Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
There's a cycle to primary presidential politics. There's no love lost in the primaries, lots of difficult rhetoric between challengers to anyone. And of course, that was true this year. Republicans and former President Trump, they're competitors, and they passed it back and forth rhetorically. But last night, of course, several of his vanquished rivals came on the stage here at the Republican National Convention. Among them, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley. They called for their party to unify behind nominee former President Trump. I want to bring into our conversation here at the convention Florida Republican Congressman Brian Mast. Brian, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Current Republican Congressman.
What did I say?
Former.
Really? I apologize
That's
for that. Current Congressman.
Yeah.
Good standing. Also chairman of Veterans for President Trump.
Correct.
First thing I want you to establish for our audience, you're going to be speaking later tonight in the program. Explain your role in the United States Army, the injuries you suffered, because when you come on stage, many Americans who do not know you well will see something that may not expect.
I was injured in Afghanistan back in 2010. I was a bomb technician, or EOD. I tried to disarm one too many, and I ended up losing 2 legs and a finger in Afghanistan. I have many friends that lost far more, to include their lives. But as you mentioned, I do chair Veterans for Trump. I was speaking about both President Trump's intent for the military and some of the changes he would see made, juxtaposed to some of the things that we see coming out of the Biden administration for the military and veterans.
If you were to try to sharpen the contrast between 3.5 years of Biden policy in the U.S. military and what you would expect from a second Trump administration, what would those contrasts be?
We don't have to guess, as was said last night, about what President Trump would do. It's defense, it's deterrence, it's the world knows that if Donald Trump puts a red line out there, that is a red line, and do not cross it. And you get conflicting things out of the Biden administration. Israel is an easy example to talk about. If the president doing a speech in Detroit, he's going to, I think, pander to an audience that's against Israel. So if he's speaking in Miami, he's going to pander to, speak to an audience that is for Israel. And you see constant conflicting messages out of him. Out of President Trump, you will get a yes is yes and a no is no.
Let's talk about Israel and Gaza for a second. Do you believe, Congressman Mast, there is a definitive separation between Hamas and Palestinian civilians, and that U.S. policy, even under a Trump administration, should take some awareness of Israel military actions that kill or harm civilians in Gaza?
Undoubtedly, there are Palestinian civilians. There are 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, things like that, right? And it goes beyond that age. But nobody should be loosely using the term Palestinian civilian, because there are Palestinians, what people would call Palestinian civilians, and they just call them that because they're under the age of 18. But there are many fighters under the age of 18. They'd call them that just because they're females, but there are many fighters that are females. They'd call them that just because they're over the age of 45, but there are fighters over the age of 45. Many that were, across the gambit of these ages and sexes and you name it, that were digging tunnels or drive trucks that are transporting rockets or other munitions, or the list goes on and on. Just because they're not wearing a black hood and a green bandana does not mean that they're just an innocent Palestinian civilian, and that's unfortunately what you'd like to see a lot of the world saying right now.
Let's talk about China. In the conversations I've heard, not just the typical conversation about China as a threat to U.S., but I've heard several Republicans talk to me about China and artificial intelligence and the imperative for the U.S. to be prepared for that quote-unquote arms race. I'd like your thoughts on that.
Look, it's AI, it's hypersonics, it's China building transoceanic militaries, which has the, exact purpose of being able to transport their military across an ocean to bring them to other places. All of these threats weigh in with one another. What's going on in space. President Trump created a space force. He was looking into the future for what those threats would be there. And I think, again, this is what you get out of a Trump administration. You get an anticipation of what will be needed in the future. You get, again, your yes is yes, your no is no, which is the strongest thing that you can have in foreign policy. Those foreign leaders, all of their intelligence agencies, they don't have the luxury of being able to gaslight the leaders of their nations. They are very serious with their nations when they say, President Trump will do this, or Joe Biden will do this, or, the list goes on and on. They don't get to gaslight their leaders. They have to assess the truth, and they know Donald Trump means business.
Florida Congressman Brian Mast, chairman of Veterans for Trump. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the questions.
Good to